We're taking a look at Go Collect's hottest comics for the week of 12/16. How much did Disney Investor Day play a role? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swagglehaus. And in this video, I'm going to take a look at the Go Collect hottest comics for the week of 12/16. Now, for those who don't know, Go Collect puts out a weekly article that analyzes the top trending sales for comics that are CGC qualified on eBay. That is to say, this is going to be the top 5 sort of hottest speculative comics that have moved on the market. And this week, I was particularly interested in it because, for those who don't know, last week we had Disney Investor Day and there was a lot of MCU news that came out. So I was interested to see how much that had an effect on the community and what the speculation might be as a result of that news. So I'm definitely going to take a look with you guys in this video, and I'll probably do a video next week to see if we had sort of residual effects that have seeped into the speculation community with regards to Disney Investor Day. But before I take a look at the article, if you guys could drop me a like or comment or subscribe if you're enjoying my content, helps me out with the channel, helps me out with the algorithm. Love interacting with you guys. So great to hear all your comments, and let's keep this conversation going. So with that being said, let us take a look at this Go Collect article and see what the 5 trending comics were. All right, so here it is right here. And the title of the article, written by Matt Tuck, is Black Panther #1's Big Move, Hottest Comics for 12/16. So just to sum up, we're going to talk about what this is. The weekly hottest comic rankings are the 1,000 best-selling graded comics according to eBay sales data. Out of all 1,000 comics listed, these 5 showed up the biggest upswing in sales since last Wednesday. So these are going to be the ones that had the biggest movement on the market based on the news of Disney Investor Day. And let's start at the bottom, actually. Let's kind of go a little bit backwards. We'll definitely dive into all these articles, but I kind of wanted to start with the number 5 slot here, which is Amazing Spider-Man 42. It's gone up 953 spots. Now, for those who don't know, this is Amazing Spider-Man 42. This is the first full appearance of Mary Jane Watson, Spider-Man's girlfriend, wife, love interest in the comic books. And this has spiked tremendously. Now, I'm not really sure why this particular issue is spiking, other than the fact that we all know that Spider-Man 3 is getting a movie. A lot of people have been specking on Spider-Man in that way. There have been a lot of rumors that Mary Jane is going to play a bigger role in that sort of Spider-Man 3. So this could be, something that people are looking at in particular. And, the one thing that's kind of nice about this, when it comes to, Spider-Man keys or early Silver Age Spider-Mans, this is one that you can, generally speaking, at a lower mid-grade, you can find for reasonable prices here, 110, 100, 95. If you're a fan of Mary Jane, this is definitely something that, you have the ability to find a good deal on. And that could be part of the reason why it's moved so many spots. Not everyone has the pockets to pay for Amazing Spider-Man #1. So number 42 is a great key to have nonetheless. And this is one that has had a lot of movement. So, it could just be that this is a classic Spider-Man book. People always like this stuff. Spider-Man is maybe the most popular character in Marvel, so that could be one of the reasons why it's had so much movement. But I do think that the news of the Spider-Man 3, the people buying into the hype with the Spider-Verse coming, and knowing that Zendaya, who plays Mary Jane, is going to have probably a big role. And there's also talk that, we might see a Kirsten Dunst reprise her role as a Mary Jane. So, you never really know with these types of things. This is where the community gets really excited about this stuff. So that is Amazing Spider-Man number 42 coming in at the 5th spot. Now, moving on here, this is Amazing Spider-Man, this is Spider-Man #1, Scorpion Comics Facsimile. Did I say that right? Facsimile. Basically, the reprint, the popular reprint that they do for comics here. And this is up 956 spots. Now, I actually don't know anything about this comic book. Apparently, it came out in October of last year, if I can get this to load here. And as you guys can see, this is a cover swipe of the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man run from the 90s. Beautiful cover. I definitely see why people would want to have something like this as far as a cover appeal. And as we know, I did a video on my channel the other week that talked about how covers matter when it comes to the collectability of items. So I'm not really sure what the legs are for a comic like this as far as it remaining in sort of the top trending, comics that are in this sort of Go Collect article. But hey, a cool comic book, something that people may want to get their hands on. I guess it's been a month or so since it's been released, so it's hard to find this comic on the shelves anymore, and now people want to get it on eBay. So there you go. All right, getting into the good stuff now. So this is going to be number 3 here, and that's Venom Lethal Protector number 4. And there it is here. This was a early. This was the first solo Venom story that was done in the early 90s. A lot of people probably had that Venom Lethal Protector number 1. Great foil cover, very, very 90s, classic thing. But this is the book right now that happens to be trending the most, Venom Lethal Protector number 4. And the reason for that is, if you guys saw the Venom movie, spoiler alert, the main antagonist for that Venom movie was a character known as Riot. Right there, you can see that Matt Tuck does a great job breaking this down. So a character known as Riot, and in this particular comic book, Riot makes his first appearance. On top of that, though, there's a lot of other symbiote first appearances that come up in this comic: Scream, Agony, Lasher, Phage, and with everything going on with the King in Black storyline right now. For those who don't know, Donny Cates has a symbiote related crossover event currently going on in Marvel Comics, which probably means a lot of people are specking on this book that if he's pulling in all these old Venom characters, people are looking for their first appearances. And I got to think that additionally, there's probably a little bit of a trickle over, if Tom Hardy Venom gets a sequel, which of course there's a lot of people talking about there being a sequel. There's a good chance that we're going to see a continuation for some of these characters, because it seems like Venom Lethal Protector, for the movie, they pulled a little bit of influence from it, specifically the main villain. So, there's reason to suspect that they're going to pull more influence from this Lethal Protector run. And Lethal Protector number 4 has a lot of first appearances, so could be a good one to pick up for Spec. At least that's what the community thinks so. All right, moving on to number 2 here. And this is a really cool one. This is something that I've wanted to talk about for a little while. And this is going to be Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars number 1. Classic 1984 crossover event. Maybe one of the first major crossover events in Marvel Comics. Now, this is one that is interesting because a lot of people have been specking on this in terms of this is maybe what we're building towards in the MCU. Now, I'm personally of the opinion that I don't think that we're going to be seeing Secret Wars. Look, I would love to see it. I think it'd be a great storyline to see. And the Russo brothers have specifically mentioned that they would love to return to Marvel to direct a Secret Wars movie. So there's reason to believe that we might see a Secret Wars. I don't personally see it for multitude of reasons. I think that Secret Wars is something that the MCU can do way down the line. But hey, you know what? It's a great story. People might want to do it. But as far as the collectability is concerned, as far as this specific comic is concerned, it's really interesting because this is one that I've always felt like should be more popular as far as, what collectors want to own. I mean, look at that cover right there. This is like vintage classic, this is like Saturday morning cartoon, 80s nostalgia, all in a single cover, right? This is such a moment in time, nostalgic looking cover. With all, the great Marvel characters on it and a very fun, read with a crossover event. I'm surprised that this comic isn't more sought after. Now, this is kind of an interesting point to segue to, because I should do a video on this eventually and talk about how in the collector hobby, it feels like storyline collections aren't really that popular, or at least don't hold value in the same way that, first appearances or notable covers or whatever hold value. For instance, Infinity Gauntlet as a storyline, before Infinity War and Endgame, that storyline didn't have that much value in terms of, what Infinity Gauntlet number 1 sold for and everything like that. And, it has a little bit of value now. Like maybe you can find one for $40, but nothing is going to, go to the $100 mark. And similarly, a lot of people are specking on the sort of the Secret Invasion number 1 because of the Disney MCU news. And I don't really see storyline comics ever really growing that much. You just don't really see it. Kree Skrull War, Secret Invasion, Infinity Gauntlet, Secret Wars, all these storylines, they go up a little bit, maybe $20 for a number one, $40 at the high, but you never really see them explode in any sort of way. But with that being said, Secret Wars number one is interesting to me because, when we talk about covers, this one has a lot of cover appeal, at least in the sense of it being sort of a kitschy, very 80s, very, kid nostalgic cartoon look. Now, I'm not going to say that this cover is high art, and that a lot of people might feel like this cover actually looks terrible because it is so cereal box, colorful. But I do think that of all the books in terms of collectability, next to an Infinity Gauntlet number one, Marvel Secret Wars number one could be something that does pick up. And of all the comics that are mentioned in this article, I think Secret Wars might be the one that is here to stay for a little bit. And Matt Tuck actually does mention this as well, that he also thinks that this is one that might be around for a little while. All right. And coming in here on the last hottest comic of Go Collect the week of 12/16 is going to be Black Panther number one, up a whopping 977 spots. There you can see right there. This is the first Black Panther comic from his first solo series with him in the name in the title. And I can see why this one is trending up because, look, we talk about collectability, we talk about cover appeal, we talk about, what people are searching for with comic books. And, not everyone can afford a Black Panther first appearance, and if I pull up here, look at this. This is Go Collect, top Silver Age comics. The literal number one comic that is trending right now is Fantastic 452, first appearance of Black Panther. This is number one. So by proxy, it seems to me that, the people that aren't able to spend the amount of money that it costs for you to get your hands on a Fantastic Four number 52 are using their money to, kind of get that secondary prize, which is a Black Panther number one. And that makes total sense to me because, it's his first, it's still significant. It's his first solo run, a number one issue. It still comes from, 1977, which is pretty cool. And, he's there, he's on the cover, very, very classic. Sidebar, I wanted to point out something to you guys. Look at the top comics right now that are trending. Look, first appearance of Black Panther, great cover. Captain America 100. This is number one of his issue. Silver Surfer number one of his issue. Doctor Strange 169, number one of his issue. Avengers right there, Silver Surfer. Iron Man, number one of his issue. So as you can see, I think people really do like collecting those number ones of characters that they love issues. If you can't get your hands on that first appearance, you might as well get the number one issue that features the character you love on the cover, has a nice presentability, nice, satisfying number, and it has a lot of significance. So anyways, those are the top 5 trending Go Collect hottest comics for the week of 12/16. I just kind of wanted to have a conversation with you guys about it, take a look at some of them that I thought were interesting. I really do think that the Secret Wars number one is interesting. I'm curious to see if it's going to hang around for a while. I do have a copy myself, but it's funny because I don't put it on the wall because I love it, but I hate it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's a good place to end it. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like that Secret Wars number one cover, or do you hate that cover? Is it too kiddish and cartoony cereal box? Is it just like, an obvious ploy to sell toys, or is it, a moment in time and nostalgia and it's pretty cool? Anyways, that's all I got for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Drop me a like or comment and subscribe if you enjoy my content, and I will see you in the next one.